but it's. Oh. Oh, that's good. Yeah. So we'll see if it. She's really good. Yeah. She'd be like.
All right. Calling Michael.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, I just don't know this part. I know it's really easy. Hey, so I'm getting ready. I've got YouTube Live up. I've got it where it says PCOE PUSD boardroom. And where do I go to change the made for kids? That little uh-huh. And go live. The studio. Okay, and now I click on the board meeting name and edit. Wait, where'd it go? It's like not letting me see that part. Oh, there I am. Edit. And is it customization? And live chat. Uncheck.
I'll let you see. Just know. It's real.
I don't see. Okay. So then save that.
Okay. Jody and Dave are a little behind with the road construction. Well, that's true. Great. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
First one.
So then now that all that's done, then I just go.
That's the advantage of being on this side of the road. It's been so long lately. You know, why do they have like a road? So. So there were these 4 mile sections. I find a reason to need to go around. Yeah, I go.
How do I get it live though?
Well, because.
Yeah.
Right?
No. Let's say YouTube.
All right. Okay. Debo goes to daycare. Jolene, do you want me to find a place for you to charge? Yeah.
I don't even see the camera. How do I get the owl on?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, this is, I need to. I can make it for you just said that they're like 10 minutes out, so. Just say exactly. All right.
Oh, that could be it. Meeting now.
I'm thinking about getting,
But he's not responding.
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Klein, here. Edlin, here. Harrison. Keller,
Here.
Reed, here.
Thank you very much. I'm looking for approval of today's PCOE PUSD agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
There's a first and there's a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Agenda's been approved. And let's start off with the presentations for this evening. We do have public comment, but that's coming up in a few minutes. We'll start off with Mrs. Hollister. There's she's running a little behind. We can switch them.
I can go first.
What?
In road construction as well.
Maybe. So, Sarah Sheridan, right?
Well, I would like to call up Ms. Julia Bautista. I have put into the, Julia goes by Kuga. So, I have a variety of, statements from teachers wrote that they wanted me to share, so I'm gonna share them with you tonight. From Ms. Murray, her science teacher. Kuga has always been a very positive and supportive person. She likes to engage with school activities and support her fellow classmates. She's consistently engaged at a high level in her science class throughout middle and high school, and she's always challenged herself to work hard and learn new materials. Also, she's an outdoor counselor, so nice job there. From Tanya Hutchins, Spanish teacher. Puka has been a student in my Spanish classes these past few years. She's also been my TA. She's been one of the best students and definitely one of the best TAs I've ever had. She anticipates what needs to be done. She goes above and beyond what's required. She is fiercely loyal and wonderfully supportive of others. Puka can be counted on to do whatever task is before her without complaint. She is just a great student. From Miss Lemesrud. Puka Bautista is one of a kind. I had her as a student in elementary school and again as a senior. Over the years, I've watched her bloom into an amazingly strong and confident young lady. This year, I've had her for 2 classes, career in finance plus leadership. When I was given the job of leadership, she jumped in to help without a second thought. Her exact comment to me was, "Ms. K, I got you." Since that comment, she has proved that she got me. I have found her to be a helper to younger students and a positive role model. She is a go-getter that exudes positivity. We got 2 more because everyone wanted to say something about her.
Yay, Puka.
Mr. Dolan, her math teacher, says, Puka has excellent leadership skills, amazing energy, and always wants to participate in every activity. She contributes greatly to class and is always ready to come to the front to show the class how it's done. And then finally, Rob Wade, counselor extraordinaire, says this to say, I met Puka in 6th grade. She was a tiny, kind-hearted powerhouse of a mountain kid, and she declared that she would be one of my program counselors when she was old enough. True to her word, she's in her 2nd year of outdoor leadership, and she continues to give everything to everything she does. We could all use a little Puka power in our lives. So thank you, Puka, and congratulations. So.
Laura is on her way.
Could probably
Can you hear
skip.
We can do the teacher feature.
We can move her to the teacher feature. If you
Yeah.
want, and you can go over that. Okay, so then I have the pleasure of introducing Miss Liz Henson and her advanced graphics design class. We have 4 students here today. So Liz, I'm gonna let you get up and talk a little bit about the amazing things you do at our school. Oh, yeah.
For those who don't know me, I'm Liz Henson. I am our visual arts teacher here at Portola High School. And I'm proud to introduce, these are 4 out of my 5 advanced graphics students. And I'm really lucky I've had these students since middle school in my program. And I'm really thankful for the opportunity to build up my CTE program. And this is our 1st year with this class of graphics too. So we have taken on, with the help of Mr. Sheridan, our #1 client, lots of school projects, and I'm going to share out just some some of what we're doing this year. This class is a CTE class, as well as, it fulfills A through G requirements, so students get that CTE experience, as well as, college, it's on their college resume. And this particular group, Kate, what classes have you taken?
I've taken yearbook. I started out in yearbook when I was a freshman in photography. I was more on the photography side of it. And then I took graphics 1 last year and now I'm graphics 2.
And then this is Mariah Zabala, she wants to share out.
I took creative art for freshman year and then last year I took graphics 1 and then now I'm in graphics 2.
And then I have Brooke Evans.
I took creative art freshman, AP art sophomore year, graphic design junior year, and now I'm in graphics 2.
And then Billy Shug.
I'm taking graphic design one freshman year, creative art, sophomore year, and then AP art.
So it's really great. I've had these students really thankful that they've been invested in my program and really eager to do these jobs for the school. Like we will, you know, with sports and some of our jobs, you'll see in a little bit. We have deadlines that really shift and change, and Brooke especially, like the morning of class, I'm like, beat that program's in today and printed, and she immediately hops on and gets that done. But this is kind of, you can see from our slides, this is some students at work in the backdrop, and this photograph is from student work too. Before school, Kate came in and photographed a media day with all of our fall sport varsity athletes to use for promotional materials for social media, some of these print materials that you'll see, and some other, you know, marketing and design pieces for the school. So we currently have 4 areas of focus that we're doing with this class: print media, video editing, which I'm kind of new to, so I'm learning right along with the students. Social media, which Kate with the leadership has been doing for the last couple of years. We're just kind of taking it to another level, and it's really fully student run. So with this class, this is all these girls' work. I'm just kind of standing back, making sure, you know, helping proofread, working with Mrs. Sheridan to get stuff out. But with our media day, this is kind of a behind the scenes of what that looked like. We set up kind of a photo studio in the cafeteria and lined up our athletes. It was pretty fun and efficient. Kate did a great job shooting, and I just kind of, again, was keeping kids in line, communicating with coaches and our athletic director to get kids in. But you can see in this picture even too, we had cheerleaders like helping with props, and the students were really excited and got involved. Some of our other print work, and I'll give you guys an example of this, but we've been doing all the sports programs for our sports events, and this is done by Brooke and Kylie. So they've been taking on a lot of our print media. And this is our homecoming edition, so it has a lot more. Oh, sorry. But these are available at the gate for families. We've heard feedback from parents that they're keeping it as like keepsake souvenirs, like they're doing in the baby book, which is kind of cool. But Brooke and Kylie like built this all from scratch. So designed how our, you know, our team rosters look, used a couple different developed software programs to do this, which is pretty impressive. You want to share a little bit about that process, Brooke?
So the second page on the screen where it says Portola Varsity, where we display the coaches' names, that was made in Adobe Illustrator by Kylie, so we could naturally kind of look like a video game or a sport roster, and then use Canva, the other parts of the pieces, and naturally
And then that last page, that schedule, Felix actually created that, and we're hoping to have some do a print run. So with time and printing, we wanted to get that out to the community. Didn't quite happen, but we're hoping for our next round, we'll be able to do that. The bank, and a couple other businesses requested them, so that's coming on down the line, but Felix did an amazing job with that too. And we'll look at that in a little bit here. Actually, there's that slide. Felix, there's your schedule graphics, if you'd like to talk a little bit about your process there.
So the photos were done by being an editor, and then I just use the school colors, graphics that are easily built.
And we did a little bit of research of other, like maybe bigger schools that are doing this, we kind of modeled after. Excellent job. And then our video component is kind of new. These two and Felix have really like jumped right in with that. With homecoming week, the week before homecoming, you might have seen a couple of students on the field videoing and capturing a lot of the action. So here's the video.
We started with doing a lot of research and like looking at other schools' videos and then we like kind of planned out what we wanted to film.
And yeah, a lot of like big colleges and like really big schools do this kind of stuff, so we wanted to do that. Then we started making storyboards of like frames of exactly what we wanted, kind of like shots that we wanted and like that kind of stuff. And then Mariah's cheerleader, so she was in the video, but then I went out and a couple of my friends helped me and some people in yearbook class. And we just shot video for an entire game. And then came back.
So we went through all the video.
Yeah, which took forever.
Yeah. And then we kind of like took turns like working on putting it together.
And learning a new program while they were doing
Yeah.
this too, like that I wasn't very familiar with, so
Yeah.
that was pretty impressive. Like they jumped right in and
We learned how to like do the transitions and like making slow-mo on like only parts of the videos and speeding it back up, which was fun. And then we just like did a lot of editing, to like get our ideas. And that took like a week.
yeah. And then you stayed after school for a couple hours doing that. So a lot of work behind the scenes together.
Yeah.
And then our last focus is that social media piece. So you've seen our Instagram and Facebook, it's all student created. So you can kind of get an idea of what the timeline looks like. kind of encouraging student involvement, getting the message out of what kids are up to. We work closely with leadership to help get messaging out and yeah, documenting like events. So this kind of is a little snapshot of history, even if you go back and look, digitally of what PHS has been up to. So, anything else you want to add? So thank you. Do you guys have any questions for?
Are you guys gonna pursue this as like career-wise?
We were actually just talking about how fun and think it would be to do like in college, maybe.
I think these two.
I've been planning to pursue an art-based career for a while, so these classes have.
I wanna pursue that.
Really fun working with them. Like we have a great time every day, like learning and just doing cool stuff.
Chico State has a great graphic design program. It's close by.
Sac State, yeah.
Great job, you guys.
Thank you very much. Return to the Principal's Recognition Award, like Mrs. Hollister.
Well, thank you so much. I polled the teachers and it was unanimous. We wanted to honor Layla Gearhart. She consistently demonstrates a growth mindset and shows what it really means to be a coyote. She not only works really hard on all of her in all of her studies, but she is always quick to help a peer, help staff. She's just a really great kid. Unfortunately, you can't meet her tonight because she's at Fred, but her parents, Robbie and Katie, are here. And we had talked, I am going to present this to her at the Monday assembly. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, wonderful, guys. And she'll be very excited.
I'd like to invite board member Stein to, well, actually, I guess the principal gets to do the introduction first, right? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right. So yes, we have 12th grader, Ricky Richardson, that teachers and myself chose to represent for this year. Ricky is a great student. He's a great athlete here. But more importantly, he's super kind, he's thoughtful, and respectful, and we thought he would be a great addition to the board this year. So welcome, Ricky, and we're excited to have you.
You'll repeat after me. So you raise your right hand. I, Ricky Richardson, do solemnly swear
I, Ricky Richardson, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
and that I will well and faithfully
I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
on which I'm about to enter. Ricky Richardson, I'm a student athlete at football high school, and I've seen a lot of improvements this year. That definitely added a lot of color and like just a little more, adds more just, yeah, color and freedom to the school. Like all of the new window tints adds just like who we are, demonstrates like what we are at the school. All the cafeterias, the windows, the wood shop. We added all the flags down towards the football field to show like who we are. Snack shack that we're putting in is gonna be a real good touch, I think. The new basketball pads and like the decoration that will definitely add a lot of color to the court and just the feeling of when you enter, and a whole different feeling. Recently we had homecoming, in which we had a lot more participation in students than I've seen in the past few years, which is very nice to see. A lot of the younger kids are participating, you know, just everyone is very close between like who won this week. It was great to see. All of our sports are in full swing. They may not be having the best seasons, but everyone's having fun. And so far, all the new staff have been great. They all filled in important pieces to our school that we needed, and they all helped fill in just for aspects that we needed. Overall, we're off to a great start this year, and I look forward to the rest of the year.
Very much. Now is the time and place for public comment. Just wanted to explain a few things first. No action or discussions shall be undertaken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda, except that members of the board or the Plymouth Unified School District staff may briefly respond to statements made or questions posed. There is a 3-minute time limit for each person who addresses the governing board during public input. And that it is timed. And so there's a 3-minute limit, and you'll be told when you've got 30 seconds remaining. Also, there's a limit of 20 minutes per topic. I did want to ask Mr. Stout. You here? You have two comments here, and I'll treat them as separate comments. One is about developer fees. Did you want to speak about that up front, or did you want to speak about it when we get to that item on the agenda?
Get to the agenda item.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get the other issue out of the way. So you have 3 minutes, sir.
Cool, thank you. I'll submit this so you have records of
Thank you.
what I'm tracing my numbers on.
This one.
So as I was doing some research this week, in regards to this proposed developers fee, I was looking at the budget for the county and the budget for this school district. I noticed 3 years ago, you had approximately a 65% jump in your total revenue collected. Over those 3 years, and I think based on the website, the beginnings of your terms, you've spent over $108 million. And all preceding years, there was an independent financial audit, and there has not been one since 2021. I would urge the board to have an external auditor audit your budgets. I also noticed that when I went to the list of schools for California, the state of California lists all schools, lists their budgets, and lists their per student spending, and none of the schools in Plymouth County were listed. So apparently we're not reporting to them. Also finding your budgets, your minutes and agenda was a little difficult. I included a printout of the pages, and I noticed that new ones were added between Monday of this week and this morning. So I included 2 screenshots of that. Anyway, it's difficult as a citizen to really understand or do oversight without public audits and without more information on how this budget is being spent. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can you take a minute and address the issue?
Okay, so.
Just very briefly. and just
Sure,
more
we
depth.
do, we have an external audit, Nigro was our previous auditor. Christy White and Associates is our new external auditor. Mandated law for the state of California is we have an external audit every year, which we bring to the board. It is board action every year on the district side and board information on the county side.
To also to reach out to Mr. Stout and. get
Sure, I
some more
was gonna
details.
see if I have a card.
Yes, it should be posted on your website.
It is.
Previous years.
Sure, and I can help you navigate that.
Yeah.
Okay. Next individual up is Michelle Callahan.
I did not plan on talking today, but I had something happen in my classroom this afternoon. And it actually happened in 3 classes, thinking back on this and thing. I would like to urge the board to please move up your cell phone policy stuff. Please come up with something for the cell phone policy. There's this new app out there, and parents, if you're still here, please get rid of that 1010 app on your kids' phones. There's an app called 1010, and it's like, if you and I are connected, what I can do is you're sitting there at your meeting, and if I'm, you know, goofing off somewhere, I can push a button and yell something into the phone. Hey, what are you doing? And it will play on your phone unsuspectingly in the middle of nowhere. Like, you have your phone tucked away in your pocket or in your backpack, and this noise comes out of your backpack. So, just urging you guys to please, parents, check your kids' phones, get rid of it. But board, if you could please push up that cell phone policy. It was 3 times in my class. The kids always spill tea, and it's like, oh, that was so-and-so's voice. So I went straight to the other classroom where it happened. She had already confiscated their phones, and but it's like I've talked to the kids, and they're supposed to be talking to each other and spreading the word to let it happen. So, and some of these kids are they're very innocent in that they don't hear it coming. Like, you don't know it's coming. Like, you don't get a message, hey, you're about to get a message from so-and-so. It just comes. And several of these, like 3 different kids, totally unsuspecting in my classroom, received these messages, and they were super embarrassed. So, could you please speed that up? That would be appreciated. Speaking for myself.
Thank you. Anyone else? And again, Mr. Stout will come back to you on the other when that item appears. Does that work for you?
It works perfectly.
Excellent. Next area, we're going to cover student achievement. It's regarding the sufficiency of instructional materials.
Yep. So, we have to hold public comment each year regarding the sufficiency of textbooks and instructional materials as defined by Ed Code 60119. So we'll and create a resolution around it. So my recommendation is to approve resolution 2425-02 and PUSD resolution 1656. Sufficiency of instructional materials.
Right.
Yep.
Great. Okay, so this is the time and place for a public hearing regarding the sufficiency of instructional materials. We'll hear public comment as at this time as defined in educational code or education code 60119. Open the public hearing. Anyone that has a comment, please step forward. Okay. There's no one who wants to be heard on this issue. I'll close the public hearing. So next up, we'll consider the resolutions. Is that correct? And or do we want to waive the reading of the resolution on this?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll move to approve resolution number 2425-02 as submitted. I'll second.
First and second, and which resolution was that?
It's 242502.
Okay, and then we'll come back to the PUSD one. Okay, so that's a roll call vote.
Aye. Edlin.
Aye.
Keller.
Aye.
Reed. Aye.
Okay. Passed by a 4-0 vote. We have one member of the board absent. And now let's consider PUSD resolution 1656. Move to approve.
Second.
There's a first and a second regarding the PUSD item regarding sufficiency of instructional materials. That too will require a roll call vote.
Fine.
Aye.
Edlin.
Aye.
Keller.
Aye.
Reed. Aye.
Thank you. That passes. Next item up is curriculum and instructional updates.
Right, do you want to do my slideshow? Sure. Okay, so I just wanted to provide you guys with a quick update, 7th week of school with some preliminary student achievement data. As a reminder, our high fives are still our guiding document that keep us focused on C&I work. As a district, we're hoping to increase the number of students reading proficiently by the end of 3rd grade by 5%, decrease chronic absenteeism by 5% each year, increase our CASP scores at meeting and exceeding standards by 5% each year, increase by 5% the number of students completing A through G required classes, and by increase by 5% students achieving grades of C or higher. So part of my presentation will be on, well, most of the high fives. So we'll talk about our iReady benchmark data, chronic absenteeism, and next steps. Our CASP data right now is embargoed, which means it's not for public consumption. So I'm able to look at it, but I can't share it with the public yet. But it allows me to have one-to-one conversations with our principals around student achievement data. And then the dashboard will come out late November or December, where it'll be shared with the public. So first up is our iReady diagnostic. So if you look from fall of 2023, fall of 2024, there hasn't been much change in our diagnostic data in the fall. When I dug a little deeper, I think next time I present it to you, it'd be from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, so you could see actual growth. Because, there really are big slides over summer in regards to student achievement. But I did feel like it's important to share with you kind of where we're at, starting at the beginning of the school year. And then I will commit to in May, sharing a growth report with you. So digging a little deeper by grade level, the green is students who are meeting or exceeding reading standards on the iReady diagnostic for fall. Yellow are students who would be considered tier 2 students when we talk about MTSS and academics. And then the red area is our tier 3 students who need more intensive interventions. Looking forward to math. Oh, 7th and 8th grade, sorry. So as you can see, we have a lot of students that are in need of tier 2 and tier 3 supports in reading right now. The same as with math. So let's go over that and then we'll share next steps, plans that we have for help. Yep.
So real quick,
Yeah.
on the reading 7-8, these are the kids, these kids would have been like in 3rd and 4th grade during the COVID shutdowns? Is that about right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I'll talk a little bit more about, I shared with you guys the Hopeville video and what we're doing to address the literacy crisis in our country. And so, there's a lot of things going on, but COVID still plays a role in our students' abilities to read, write, and think mathematically.
This is showing 50% in tier 3.
Yeah. And that's why we have some 9th and 10th graders right now who still engage in iReady on a regular basis to try to get them caught up.
I don't want to steal a show. Are you going to compare this later to how we line up with the rest of the state?
Yes. As much as I can because the data is embargoed, but I'm going to share a few things with you that I can. Yeah. And so math, we're facing the same situation. So if you look through K through 6 math, it seems like, the older they get, the more behind they are. And then Mallory's 7th and 8th grade, it's the same. So we have a lot of work to do, you guys, in regard to student achievement. I shared with you guys last year with, students who are not reading at grade level by the end of 3rd grade. The outcomes are not great. And so that really has prompted us as a district to be proactive with some of the stuff that we're doing through TK through 3rd. And I'll talk about that in a minute with our reading. So chronic absenteeism rates. Yes, please.
So, iReady is really a student-driven program, right? Students are on the computer by themselves. How much intervention are we able to give, like one-on-one or group learning are we able to give to the students who are tier 3?
Good question. So this is one measure, or this is one area that we can help students with. This year we purchased what's called the iReady toolbox for every school site. And so that gives you teacher lessons that they can go through that are for intervention time. So if they want to use that, we bought it for high school this year too, so that it could be used in tutorial. And so when we have our one-to-one data chats with principals, we need to come up with a plan on how that would be utilized in tutorial. And that would be the tier 2 small group instruction for students in grades K through 8. Yeah. So our chronic absenteeism rates. So just a little context, as a district prior to COVID, we were at about 30% chronically absent, with the state average running around 15%. And then these are our post-COVID numbers. So we're making significant progress. I'm really proud of the work that we're doing to address chronic absenteeism. So the 2024 data that I am sharing with you today is out of Aries Analytics because the California dashboard has not been published yet. It's still embargoed data, but it will be pretty close. I would say it's going to be 28 to 29 point something %. The state average is 25. This is the closest we've ever been to the state average. We've always been really off. And so if we can just keep this prevention and intervention motion going with our prevention coordinators, and working closely with our school sites, I really feel like we can actually be at state average within the next year or two.
But there's been a dramatic improvement.
I'll share a little bit with you right now with the next steps. And so our prevention, we added an additional prevention coordinator this school year, because we need to be spending our time and money on prevention and intervention. That's what our data shares with us, right? And so we created a whole new SARP process this summer, and it starts with addressing prevention needs for attendance at the site first. Then we're doing briefings with all of our county partners. And then after that, if the students haven't met criteria for improved attendance, they will be subpoenaed and they will go through a SARP process where they'll actually, it could lead to probation and other things because we've done all preventative measures prior to that. Our focus is students aged 6 through 15, because as you know, the laws have changed, and to address chronic absenteeism for 16 plus, it's a preventative measure, but there really isn't much we can do legally. So we're really just putting our efforts into that. But having 3 prevention coordinators and having our peer improvement groups at each of the school sites and bringing back Friday Night Live, there's so many great things, there's just so many great things that are happening in regard to prevention that are making kids actually want to come to school. So we're super proud.
I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
One is the absentee issue, do we find it mostly at the high school level, or is it kind of balanced between?
It's a balance. It really is. It's, so we see the most struggles in Portola and Greenville with our attendance. And with Quincy right by there, our best attendance rates are in Chester. But it is across the board. And a lot of it does have to do with COVID. Like, people were used to being at home and independent study, and when they were on Chromebooks, they could work from home. And so, you know, it's just reestablishing that value of wanting to come to school and engage. And, you know, that's why we have so many activities at our schools to keep kids motivated to want to go to school.
Okay, the second question is, let's say you have a student who, on a regular basis, decides they don't want to, I'm talking primarily about high school here. After lunch, they decide, oh, I'm tired, I'm gonna go home, or whatever. How does that calculate it into absenteeism? Do you count that ditching class as part of the overall absence, or is it a partial absence?
Yeah, it's attendance by period.
Okay.
So that would be calculated in. And so having multiple prevention coordinators now, they're able to work with the attendance clerk, and they track attendance, and they have one-to-one meetings with students who are doing that, and they create plans around getting them to want to come to school. And it's working. We go to their house now, we call their parents, we're chasing them down, you know, it's like, you're gonna come to school. So it's working. They want to come to school.
Thank you for letting me interrupt you.
Anytime, Dave. Yeah. So back to next steps, please. The previous slide. So I'll be hosting one-to-one data chats, meetings with our principals. And I can share the embargoed test score data with them. And then the third thing we're doing is October Catch is something that we do each school year that I remembered last year. I didn't really share with you what that is. So October Catch is a deep dive that we do at each of our school sites. And that's why those MTSS team leads are so important, because we look at students by need, name, and skill in academics, attendance, behavior, and social emotional supports. And we create our interventions around that. So most of our elementary sites have when time, what I need time, intervention time for academics. We're gonna be rolling that out at all of our school sites. So our deep dive just provides us with an opportunity to help create our interventions. And they're in a 6 to 12 week cycle. at the elementary level. We are gonna create, it's gonna take a couple of years, but we're gonna create a district-wide MTSS handbook. We currently have one for each school site, but we need something that's going to address those 4 areas at tier 1, 2, and 3 at a district level. And then that, then we can identify the funding sources that we will use in order to have those supports. An area that we struggle with, is supporting our second language learners, our EL students. And so, we're working to create an EL master plan, and we're collaborating with Shasta County, and Butte County on that. And then we're going to go back to the basics, and we're going to provide additional, training in professional learning communities, something that we started in our district about 8 years ago. And we did PLC Light during COVID. And so we're getting it back to the basics with that. And I'll share a little bit about that with you after this last part. And then this year, we're super excited that we are in a full implementation of the youth life curriculum. And that is addressing phonemic awareness needs, phonics and fluency, for all of our TK through 3 students. They did the last part of their training on September 20th. And so it'll be 3 to 5 years where you start to really see great outcomes, but everyone's using the same structured literacy, and we have a literacy coach to support implementation. So exciting stuff. You probably saw this several years ago with Christy Warren, but professional learning communities are super important for us in really establishing good intervention and prevention efforts. So I just wanted to remind you of the 4 guiding questions that we use in professional learning communities. And the first one is, what do we want students to learn? And that's all about our essential standards and learning objectives. And then what will we do? How will we know if they have learned it? And that addresses assessment. So creating common assessments, and having evidence that will show whether a student understands that or not. Our high school English teachers have been engaging in 2 days of district-wide writing assessment grading, where they dig in together and grade these and create next steps. So that's a part of that process. What will we do if students haven't learned? So what interventions, what resources are we going to put in place to create interventions for students? And then also, how are we going to support those students who already have mastery? So what kind of enrichment can we provide them with? So, yeah, those are our next steps. Do you have any questions? All right, thanks, you guys.
That's for information only.
Information only, yep.
And Apollo policies and procedures.
So in the handbook, this is just to show that there was a couple of updates in the Apollo handbook for Greenville and CRC. They were highlighted in yellow on the documents that were attached. If you have any questions, it was like 2 very minor pieces. Now we're just making sure that the copies for the log sheets are scanned and stored on a Google Doc, and then sent and put in a Google Drive folder, and then shared with the principals and the district office. And they have to be done every quarter. And then the other thing that was added was at page 14, I believe, just talking about employee safety and healthy policy.
Apollo staffing, what's who staffs Apollo in terms of like, are they teachers' aides, or are they paraprofessionals, or are they?
We actually have coordinators. We have a coordinator and then a paraprofessional, if we need it. But the ACEs, this is referring to the Frontier and the ACEs, that only Greenville and CRC are qualified for. The other is using with our expanded learning opportunities program. But this is specifically to the old, after school program, older.
I'm just curious, are both those programs pretty well attended?
Yes,
Waiting
lists.
Wow.
And especially with the expansion with our new ELOC funds, even still we're on waiting list. We were talking about taking up to like 60 kids and still waiting.
Is that because of need for staffing?
Yes, yeah, it's always staffing. And The state has a ratio of 20 to 1, but with behaviors, you really want it to be 15 to 1.
Thank you. Do you need a vote on this?
Yeah, I think that's a recommendation.
I'll move to approve as it was submitted.
There's a first and there's a second. All of those in favor? Aye. Motion is approved. Next up is some fiscal business, including the unaudited actual financial reports. That'd be
Yes.
you.
This would be me. We will start off, you wanna, and I'm gonna have to look probably at my screen most of the time. Even with my glasses, it's a little challenging up there. Okay, so some key considerations before we go over, Plymouth County and Plymouth Unified's budgets is we've had these one-time fundings over the last 3-4 years, significant amounts of money for COVID-19 and, as well as our Measure B funds. Going through this time, most of the funds are already utilized, or we have encumbered the funds for the following year. And so looking at our current revenue levels and then what we have been used to spending for the last 3 years, we do need to take a look at our budget and where we're spending and become more aligned between our revenues and our expenditures. Also, highlighting some of the key contributions to our general ed, special education. It's consistently underfunded by the federal government and also at the state level. So it's really up to us as at the local level to make sure that that program still runs and not affected because of the issues going on at the federal level. Okay, so again, my little circle diagram, this is where we're at. We had adopted the budget back in June. We were here in Quincy adopting the budget. And so here is where we take what we actually did, what we thought we would do, but what we actually did and put it all together. Okay, so for the County Office of Education, our revenues came in, and again, still the county also has these one-time dollars and will probably continue past the district to have these one-time dollars because a lot of our curricular grants and one-time money it's trending towards County Office of Education to manage and not with the school district. So our revenues are still sitting, they came in, I projected at a little under 7 million. We came in at a little over. But again, that difference I really believe is it's when you have this revenue up front, it's really hard to say that you're going to budget all of it. I feel like it kind of inflates the budget. And so if you know you're not going to spend it, why budget for it? But at the end of the year, it's there. We have to report it as such. And so we came in a little under 5% difference. And then the expenditures as well, we had about 700,000 for our CLSD grant that we were trying to scramble and spend. And then I think it was the very last week of June, beginning week of July, Butte County came back with the state and said, oh, you know what, it's okay, you guys have another year to spend these funds. So it helped our program side to kind of take a step back and recalibrate as far as how the rest of the funds were going to be spent. And so I just basically explained the difference there. Okay, so let's see. Next slide, sorry, that was a duplicate. So for PCOE, the ending fund balances, a reserve for economic uncertainty is still sitting at 750,000. The SRS funds in our Form 01 that we upload to the state, it's actually in our general fund per requirement of the state, but I like to show what's in the general fund that has already been earmarked for our SRS programs, outdoor education, CTE and VAPA sections that the county provides to the district. Our adult education fund, this is where our adult education program resides in a consortium. We're at 27,000 there. Our child development fund is 21,000. And then Fund 16 is at 11,000. And now on to Plymouth Unified. Okay, we came in with about a 5% difference between what I brought to you in June as my estimated actual and then actuals of what came in. finishing up just last week, actually. And so our revenues sat at 39 million with our expenditures a little over 40 million. That's restricted and unrestricted combined in our general fund. So as you can see, back in June, unless we had made some drastic changes, I was expecting to deficit spend at 2.1 million. We came in at 1.6 actual.
You just jumped to USD.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. There's not a transition slide, I guess. Like I should have a slide in there that says breathe.
So PCOE does, that's just for information, right?
That's just for information.
And what about the GAN limit?
Actually, I have a slide at the end that explains the GAN limit, and then I'll ask you guys to go ahead and vote on the resolution at the very
Okay.
end. Yeah.
Thanks.
Uh-huh. Okay, PUSD, the revenue came in a little bit higher. Again, it's when we're our county, when we're less LCFF, but more basic aid, it can be challenging to project what we're what we're going to get at the very end. So our revenues were high a little bit, which did save because our expenditures are still higher than our revenues. But my expenditures, as far as what I had projected in June versus what they came out to be, is about a 1.98% difference, and higher salary and benefit costs due to the proportionate share between PUSD and PCOE, and then a delay. Still, we are having it's a challenge to spend out this one-time, these one-time funds, making sure that we're wanting to spend as much as we can in that current year, because the more we push back to the subsequent years, we run into the state taking back that money. The PUSD fund balance. So I unfortunately was not able to do a transfer to the reserve for economic uncertainty. Our adult education fund is at 197,000. Nothing in our deferred maintenance. That was an old fund that it's pretty restrictive as to what you can put in and especially what you can pull out. But we're going to keep that open in case we have any future projects that we may want to earmark those dollars for. Our other post-employment benefits is 392,000. We have calculated in unencumbered or hasn't been spoken for as far as Measure B goes, so about 2.2. That was as of 6/30. I know we have had some projects since that have lowered that balance, but I also want to, I think it'll be a great opportunity as the board to see what we have left and maybe what else has been out there that was promised that we need to reconsider.
When you say you haven't been able to transfer it, you mean to the reserve for economic uncertainty?
Correct.
You mean for the purposes of this report?
No, just because I didn't have any extra cash to put in for it's different than Fund 17. It's reserve for economic uncertainty is different than what we have in our reserve.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The facilities fund is 4 million or 4.9 million. And then our ABM project, we have 227,000 left from, and hopefully with the work of ABM, once we're fully sourced by solar over there, we're going to see a cost savings for that project. The ad valorem, that's really, it is what is owed to the participants of the bond. So until the county treasurer makes that move or when they pay out for ad valorem, so we're sitting at 12 million there. That is not our money. We don't get to touch that money. We don't get to decide how it's expended. It's just really a holding pattern until Plymouth, County takes care of it. The self-insured fund, when we were self-insured, that's at 508,000, just waiting to be spent on old claims. And then the Fund 17, the special reserve, is at 4.7. That's about at 11%.
Well, it seems as if with the reduction in the one-time COVID fee funds, the spending down of Measure B, the cost of special ed that we have to contribute out of our general fund, now relying more on the maintenance funds.
Mhm.
It seems like we're gonna be in a really different place. The
Yes.
next is coming up this next year.
Right, and especially when we do talk about Measure B, we have to be really methodical about the projects that we're going to be having, coming up that have nothing to do with Measure B, but still have to happen, like our roofs and things like that. And so that is where we want to try to contribute to that fund as much as we can, because it's not just about what needs to happen in this fiscal year and today or maybe tomorrow, but what we see ahead with, especially with the facilities, we need to start saving some money.
Does it seem, would it be a good idea to, possibly like have a special meeting or something where we can look at proactively where we're headed? And
Yeah, I mean, I welcome and I would be very appreciative to start having those conversations. As you know, this is my second year in this position and I really welcome ideas and what our priorities are moving forward as the district, where we want to go, how we want to align. So yes, please. Any other questions regarding the budget? Okay. Regarding the GAN limit is a guideline designed from the government to control governmental spending. And it has to do with it has its own formula and it's calculated based on two key factors, the state's per capita personal income and the average daily attendance of students within our district. These numbers determine the maximal allowable spending. It's not a hard stop if we go over, but the state does like to know, when we know we're projecting to go over those. And that's also a good conversation to have with our state during those first and second interims of when we know we're going to go over those amounts. And I believe it's an action item,
Yeah, the PUSD parts in action item too?
the PCOE.
No, PUSD,
It's a resolution, so I would say probably both need,
both?
I'm not certain on that, Dave,
Okay.
so I would say if we could have a vote on both, that would Great.
It says, I believe Patty, you put this together, unaudited actuals are presented for information only on the PCOE side.
Okay,
So, plus
but
that,
as far as the GAN limit goes,
but that we need resolution for
right,
both of
yes,
those.
yes.
And we can take those separately, and we also need to approve the USD, on.
Audited
audited
actuals,
actual
yes.
report. So let's go ahead and start with that, if there's no objection, the unaudited actual report, actuals
I'll
report.
move to approve.
Second.
There's a first and a second, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and then the GAN limits, which I think do those need roll call or not?
It's a resolution,
Resolution, so they do need roll
yeah,
call,
so
so.
I'll move to approve resolution, it's the county office of ed side 2425-04.
They got a different number on the document than has it on the agenda.
Oh,
I think probably is the agenda 24.
Agenda is 2425 and the other one is 2324.
The one, okay, so the resolution you have in front of you to sign, that is correct. Yeah,
And that says 2425. It's just a typo.
I think it's a typo that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I second. Yes. Unless you already did.
No.
Okay.
Okay, there's a first and a second, and that's the, is that the PCOE one?
yes.
Yeah.
All those, oh, it's roll call vote.
Aye.
Evelyn,
Aye.
Keller,
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Okay, it passes, and now we need the, USD resolution, what is that, 1658 on the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve PSP resolution 1658.
Second.
Okay, there's a first and a second, roll call vote, please.
Fine.
Aye.
Evelyn.
Aye.
Keller,
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Okay, that one passes. And the next item up, I believe, is the developer fee program. There's a recommendation to rescind. Can you maybe brief us a little bit on that?
Yep, sure. So PUSD is reconsidering the developer fee program, which was previously approved to begin on November 10th. The program would have imposed fees on new residential, commercial, and industrial construction to generate revenue for the school district. However, after receiving feedback from Plumas County, we've decided to pause the program to allow for further discussion and collaboration. We originally had a scheduled meeting for October 23rd, but in light of the Board of Supervisors election and also not having a permanent superintendent, we would like to wait until we have those two things in place where everyone can come to the table and collaborate on this. And so the recommendation is the adoption of resolution 1663, and that would rescind resolution 1654.
And that recommendation has also been made by the Capital Public Finance Group, which is the consultant that assisted us in putting this together. They also feel it would be in the district and the county best interest to rescind this. Just want to throw that in there.
And then we're down
A couple
even
times this
further.
week, and that's their recommendation.
Yeah.
So,
Would you like to
so
comment?
we'll get to your comment in a second. So is there any comment up here? Probably.
Mine is just, I'm all for, this upcoming meeting and the collaboration to discuss this, more. We were under the impression that that was happening. So the fact that it didn't happen, it needs to happen. The only thing that I would say is the way that this was written in the agenda is incorrect. It has not been rescinded. It is in full force until we vote to change it, but it went out there as if it had already been rescinded, and that's not the case. The district can't make that decision. The board of directors has to.
It says
so that's
recommendation to rescind.
right, but it was just sent to me several times on my phone as if it had already happened, and people said, "Oh, congratulations, I'm glad you did that," or they went the other way and said, "Why did you do that?" As if it had already happened, and it hasn't happened yet. That's what this is about today, but anyways, it's in full force until we change it, which is what you're recommending today, or what our legal advisors are recommending today. So I just wanted to clarify.
The other thing I would like to say publicly, which we've said in the several meetings we've had to discuss the developer fees in the past, is that these developer fees do not affect rebuilding homes in Greenville.
Or any other
Or any other natural disaster like that.
In any part of the county.
In any part of the county. And so that came up with, in conversations to me, and I really want to make that clear. Again, we talked about it before, but obviously the word didn't get out that will not affect rebuilding in Greenville or any other, and those folks will not have to pay developer fees to rebuild their home after a disaster.
or any future.
And I think the legislative intent of this was to, hypothetically, if there was a big project that came into this town, for example, and it brought along with it a bunch of new residents who have collectively 30 students who are K through 6. I'm not sure we'd be able to accommodate them at Seaway Carmichael. Would that be accurate or close to accurate?
We would have to accommodate them, but it
But
would be,
it'd
we'd
be
have
great
to
to have
get,
additional
We
space.
wouldn't be able to file for hardship if that happened.
So the intent of this is to collect fees in the inevitability, which might not be tomorrow, but it could be 5 years from tomorrow, 10 years from tomorrow, that we'd have the funds prepared to build new classrooms. That was the legislative intent. That's the only thing the money can be spent for is construction of an additional classroom space. None of it would go to anything else. It wouldn't be used to bolster our already significant $500 a year salaries. Taxed, by the way. So it would be just for that purpose. That being said, for the reasons we've discussed, we're in a position tonight to consider rescinding it. Anyone else?
Yeah, I would just echo what has been said already, and glad that we're in a position to do this collaboratively now, which if we thought was I certainly thought, and not going to speak for the rest of the board members, was what was going on in the first place. So really glad that we're where we're at today, and I would definitely make this motion.
Let's get to Mr. Scott's comment. Sir, please come forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First thing I want to say is it's not exactly correct that it won't impact people who have been hit by disaster. If you rebuild to a larger size than what was originally stated as the building size, you will be charged the difference per square foot. And records being as they are, I know on my property, I have 2 homes and only one of them, the county knows the square footage on. So the other one burns down and they're either gonna depend on me to tell them how many square feet there are, or they'll say there's 0 square feet. So, and on a house, the average house size in Plymouth County is slightly over 2,000 feet. I think it's 2,023 feet. That's over $10,000 before you can actually get even into the permit process. That's a pretty high bar to jump for individual people creating homes. I think you can scope this much more accurately to say larger developments. So if somebody's developing 5, 10 units or more, they pay this fee because we desperately need people to open up units on their property. That's why the whole state and the county is working on ADUs. If you have to pay these fees on an ADU, you might very well not do it. And the other thing is, to be totally honest, I've been a landlord before. It's not something I like doing. I've considered doing it again for this county. But you can lose money doing that around here. And you add an extra $10,000 before you even get started. It makes you want to do Airbnbs because you're safer. And that is only going to drive up housing costs in the county. I think we've got too many Airbnbs as it already stands. And I think this is really bad for the health and the long-term economic growth of Plymouth County. And I think this would be a classic example of privatizing profit and socializing costs. You're spreading this out across your tax base, but the people who develop, they're the ones that make all the money. So we need to get more families in Plymouth County. We need to get more young people in Plymouth County. We don't need to be throwing up roadblocks. The second point I'd like to make is, well, I would really like to know how much money we spent on this report, because I took a day off and drove around these developments today. You can see my car outside. You can see how dusty it is, because all I did was drive through a bunch of dusty dirt roads. There's nothing out there. One of these things was permitted in 2003. One of them was permitted in 2006. They have not moved an inch. The biggest one that was based for this justification went to the county last year and asked them, do you think we can get this much money for this land that we've got? They have no plan for implementing this. So to stick a $10,000 average cost on people building houses over something that doesn't exist. And then our budget went up 66% between 3 years ago and now, your yearly budget and your population of students has gone down. And you're imposing this fee? I think it's a really bad idea. Thank you.
Thank you. You don't happen to have that in front of you, do you?
What?
The cost, what you paid to the consultant?
I think it was somewhere around, I'm gonna say 7,000 to 10,000.
That's.
Don't, I can, if you
I would like to-
email me
Okay.
and we can
And I
talk,
can-
because, but that's what I have in my mind.
And we'll try to get that number out to the public as well. Anybody else has a comment about that?
All right, I didn't write a note, but could I just say that, I wasn't aware that you guys were even talking about this issue at all. I know you're sending stuff out in Mountain Messenger, but not everybody gets that. So maybe a little bit more, I know you were mentioning about getting stuff about Greenville out to the public, maybe better ways to communicate to the general public in Plymouth County as well, so we all have this information, so we can attend if we need to.
Yeah, the reason we published in the Mountain Messenger is because it's a newspaper of record. It's the courts have adjudicated it as a publication where we can print that information. We no longer have other publishing newspapers. That being said, better effort to have reached out to the community probably would have been a good idea.
I was just gonna say, might wanna just CC the Sun on it. I realize they're not a record of the paper of record, but that's what most of Plymouth County reads.
Great point. So, Somebody was about to make a first, or make a motion.
I'll make an motion for adoption of resolution 1663 to rescind resolution 1654.
I'll second.
There's a first and a second. Any further discussion before we vote on it? There being none, this is a roll call vote.
Klein.
Aye.
Evelyn.
Aye.
Keller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Thank you very much. That means this is rescinded for now, and maybe mentioned in here somewhere, October 23rd, we'll meet various agencies and.
We're not going to meet on October 23rd, so what they recommended that we wait until
Okay.
the Board of Supervisors election, and we have a new.
Oh, yeah, because we have.
Yeah.
New folks coming on the board.
Yep.
Not just the county board of supervisors, but at least one, if not two here. Okay. Okay, that being done, facilities, how about a facility update?
Sure. Sorry, I was busy looking at their contract. Okay, so we didn't have any Measure B contracts to go over this time. And so all of this is really just our, a routine maintenance. Current Electric. They, provide the district-wide fire alarm monitoring, and, we do essentially one purchase order there, and then they monitor throughout the year, pay as you go. Joe Branch Electric, Chester High School football, softball scoreboard repair. I was, given an invoice, letting me know that the project was less than 15,000, so it was approved, but it never went to the board to ratify, so we brought it to you today for ratification.
So, let me interrupt you, that project been actually completed?
It is completed.
Okay.
Yes.
That might be one of those things that in the future we actually take a look at. How old's that scoreboard, you know? Pretty
Sorry,
old.
Chelsea probably could have answered.
Probably close to 30 years. So at this point, we might want to consider spending the extra 20. Get a new scoreboard. I know the one out in Greenville was about 32,000. Fairly nice, and the scoreboard is bigger than the one in Chester, so. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Raymac, updating, some pumps over at the district office. Hinkin Specialty Elevators, they service all of our conveyors district-wide. Advanced Chemical Technology, treat and close the loop hot water boilers district-wide. Next, refrigeration, we decided to do a contract for the entire year this year for incidentals, and so we will up that contract if need be as we go. And then the FIT inspections, California Schools inspections, and that is conduct district-wide FIT inspections.
Thank you. Any questions or?
A second.
There's a first and a second.
Who was the
All-
first? I'm sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And the Williams quarterly report.
Yeah, so a requirement of Ed Code 35186, Section D, is that we report out quarterly to the governing board. We have no complaints of textbook, instructional material, or teacher vacancies or misassignments for the quarter ending September 30th. This is information only with no action required.
That's for information only. We can fire a vote. Come to the part of the agenda where there's some resolutions. And first one up is a resolution that's for both the Plymouth County Office of Education and Plymouth Unified School District. It's recognizing and honoring Hispanic Heritage Month. And I know these resolutions get posted around at the various school sites, if anybody's interested in reading them up close and personal. But here's what it says. Whereas Hispanic Heritage Month is celebrated annually in the United States from September 15th to October 15th, to recognize the contributions and influence of Hispanic Americans to the history, culture, and achievements of the United States. And whereas Hispanic Americans have had a profound and positive impact on our country through their strong commitment to family, faith, hard work, and service. And whereas the Plumas County Office of Education and the Plumas Unified School District Board of Education recognizes and celebrates that Hispanic Americans have a long and proud history in our country dating back to the Spanish colonization of the Americas during the 16th century. Hispanic Americans have contributed significantly to all areas of American life, including science, medicine, education, business, sports, and the arts. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Plumas County Office of Education and the Plumas Unified School District Board of Education hereby adopt this resolution to honor Hispanic Heritage Month and recognize the tremendous contributions made to California and the United States. And this is a roll call vote. It's PCOE Resolution 2425-03, and it's PUSD School District Resolution 1657.
Aforementioned resolution.
I'll second.
Okay, this is a roll call vote.
Klein.
Aye.
Evelyn.
Aye.
Keller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
And I'm gonna ask someone else to read this, my mouth is dry, so. Thank you.
So this resolution is recognizing and honoring Indigenous Peoples' Day. Whereas the history and culture of Indigenous peoples have been largely erased or misrepresented in American history, and it is important to recognize and honor their contributions and sacrifices. Whereas the Board of Education of Plumas County and Plumas Unified School District recognizes the significance of the second Monday in October as Indigenous Peoples' Day, as it acknowledges the rich cultural heritage and history of the indigenous peoples of North America, California, and Plumas County. Whereas Plumas County is situated on the ancestral lands of the people who have lived in the region for thousands of years and have a unique and diverse culture. Whereas the Board of Education of Plumas County and Plumas Unified School District recognizes the importance of educating our students about the history, culture, and contributions of indigenous peoples, and commits to promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion in our schools. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of Plumas County and Plumas Unified School District officially recognizes the second Monday in October as Indigenous Peoples' Day and encourages all schools in the district to celebrate the heritage and contributions of Indigenous people.
I'll move to approve.
Okay. Again, PCOE Resolution 2425-05 and PUSD Resolution 1659. This is a roll call vote.
Klein.
Aye.
Evelyn. Aye. Keller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. And next up is administrative designees for 24-25.
Yep, so this time of year, we submit a list of administrative designees for each site. So we're seeking approval of the attached admin designees for 24-25.
Second.
And the first and a second. Ready for approval?
Is that a vote?
Yeah,
Okay.
just regular vote.
Then aye. Aye.
Aye. Sorry, aye. Long day.
Can I interrupt just for 1 second? I got the information that you had requested. So I will have to ask our staff back at the district office exactly how much has been paid to PFG, capital PFG, but the consulting fee contract is up to $8,200.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're now, next up is the adoption of the biennial conflict of interest code. Can we have a little bit of explanation?
So the political reform act requires state and local government agencies to adopt conflict of interest on a yearly basis. So our recommendation is approval of resolutions for PCOE and PUSD adopting our conflict of interest code. PCOE resolution 2425-07, PUSD resolution 1661.
And this is a fairly lengthy document. I'm gonna ask that the board waive the full reading of this. Thank you. So I do need a first and a second.
I'll move to approve PCOE resolution 2425-07.
Second, again, this is we're adopting the conflict of interest code, and this is available for the public to read if they want to read it, and it's online as well. You can also ask for it from the office. And this is the roll call vote.
Fine.
Aye.
Evelyn.
Aye.
Keller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Okay. We have, policy updates.
Do you have to do it on?
You have to do it,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, do
Yeah,
PUSD.
so I'll move to approve
Oh,
PUSD resolution 1661,
sorry.
which is the same thing on the other.
Thank you.
Second.
That's a roll call vote too.
Fine.
Aye.
Evelyn.
Aye.
Keller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Now we have policy updates.
Yep, so we have 7 policies for you to recommend this month. These are all sent to us by CSBA. We've read over them just to keep us in compliance with board policy. The one that stands out the most for us is that we'll have to create an AI policy.
AI will do it for us.
Yeah. I'll plug that in.
We'll plug it in. Sorry.
So we are seeking approval of that, this evening of the 7 policies.
I move to approve the 7 policies.
We have a first and a second, with the regular vote, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? There being none, motion passes. Consent items. First up, we have the minutes from the September 11th, 2024 meeting.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
The first and then the second. All, is there any extensions at all? Very good, okay.
Yeah, we're on.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. And then we had a special, board meeting on September 13th, 2024, and need approval of those minutes.
Second.
There's the first and the second. Anybody abstaining?
I wasn't there.
You're
So I'll
not there,
abstain.
but everybody else was?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, all those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. And do we have enough for the September 26th, 2024 special
On
meeting?
that one.
You weren't there, but 3 of us were?
Yeah, I think so.
Or is that the one where you?
Right,
emailed?
but public was,
Leslie was the one.
I was
So
So electronic, that counts in your recollection? Okay,
I was, it was posted.
yeah,
okay. So we need a
But you
first
have
and a
to have
second on
the-
that one, that's
but
your
I
convenience.
believe you have to have 3 members in the county.
They were.
Only Dave and Chelsea.
Only
was there.
Chelsea
there,
was
so-
there, so
So we
Leslie,
can bring it
so
back.
I think we need to bring it back.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay.
So
But-
if we can bring back the minutes for September 26th, 2024 at the next meeting, that would be awesome
We'll do it.
and required. Service contracts included with this agenda.
Yeah. Okay, so PCOE service contracts up first. We are partnering with how do you say that? Tulare County Superintendent of Schools. One of our prevention coordinators, Ashley, is going to be, using, her all peer groups. She's going to be encompassing this into her peer groups, $9,000 income, service contract for the year. For an FNL Friday Night Live program. Pathfinder Properties, our adult education school, was actually sold to a new owner, so there's no price increase for us, but it's just letting you know that we are changing ownership. So instead of Pathfinder Properties, it will be Indian Valley Properties, Indian Valley something.
We get to stay there.
We do get to stay, yes, we do get to stay. For the time being, I haven't heard that for twice. Phoenix Design, again, that's for our Feather River Adult School. They do all of our media, our posts, card mailers and things like that. And then UC Regents, this is for our kiddos up at Fred. We did have a substantial increase to that service contract on the county side. For this year, for the elementary schools, it'll be $36,000.
PCOE is just for information only,
Yes,
PUSD isn't.
right. Okay, so PUSD, all data, CTIC, CTE, online program for auto shop, students to use reference materials for parts maintenance and create work orders. Leaf Capital Funding, this is from General Fund Business, copier lease district-wide. And I believe that is for, let's see, contract approved by the board on 9/22, update to correct the name of the lender. Okay, so this was just a name change, Leaf Capital. I think it was Smile before. And then Plumas Rural Services, $10,000 for our live program. We do have a student participating this year. So our contract as of right now is not to exceed $10,000.
Okay, that one does good approval.
I'll move to approve the service contracts as presented. Second.
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes, and the POSD check registers for the month of September of 2024.
How about the resident updated check register email to us?
Yeah. This is one that full pages on it.
When was that email?
I requested Patty, when I realized the was missing some pages, I asked Patty and she sent it out this evening.
Okay.
9:15.
Okay, that's probably what got the questions going this morning then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the check register.
First and second, all those in favor? Aye. Passes. And we have donations, including, supplies donated to POC for the C. Ray Carmichael Apollo program, and another donation from Feather River Food Cooperative to POC for the Farm to Fork program at Portola High School.
So thank you very much to the donors, and I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
There's a first and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Then we have 3 field trips to sign off on. Okay. That's all, just 3?
So we did pack it pretty full last meeting, so we did double check, and this was what was there.
I'll move to approve.
And we did change the formatting a little bit for our field trips to give you a little bit more information up
Thank you.
front.
Thank you.
So Barb did a really great job on that one.
So, we have a first and a second for those 3 field trips. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. And at this point, we head into closed session. And if there's anything to report out of closed session, and there probably will be, we'll announce it to the public when we reconvene in the open session. Thank you for coming. We're reconvening a school board meeting at, it appears to be 6:53 p.m. And closed session, first item up. There's a PUSD stipulated expulsion case, and it's, case number 242501. Student, I'll leave the ID blank, but not say it. We should go ahead and vote on that.
Right, we supported the, I'll move to, uphold the stipulated expulsion.
Second.
Okay, there's a first and second, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we should go ahead, we can, I think, do the whole
Personnel transaction.
personnel agenda.
Yep, I'll move to approve as it was submitted.
I'll second from PUSD. Personnel agenda.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And
And then the layoff notice,
which one should here?
it's resolution 1660.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's right here, but
It's number 4, number 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's working outside the credential, what she's talking about. is number
Next
4.
up is working outside a credentialed area.
I'll move
That's
to
a
approve
resolution, and we'll need a roll call on that.
I'll move to approve resolution 1662.
I'll second.
First and a second. We gotta do a roll, somebody do the roll call first.
Klein, aye.
Reed. Aye. Edlin.
Aye.
Keller.
Aye. That was successfully passed. Is that it, except for the one other item?
Number 3. You're okay.
Oh, okay, this is the authorization for hiring under a short-term staff permit for 2024. The board is required to approve these, so the recommendation is that we approve of the hiring under an STSP for 24-25 as presented. And there's 5 names on there.
I'll move to approve. Second.
There's a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And then number 4 also.
I'll move to approve. This is a PUSD resolution, classified reduction resolution 1660.
A second.
Okay, there's a first and a second. This is a roll call vote.
Reed. Aye. Klein.
Aye.
Edlin.
Aye.
Keller.
Yes, aye. And nothing to do on the sunshine items, you know,
Information only.
and let's see, we already did the stipulated expulsion, is that correct? In the agenda? Human resources agenda?
Yep, we're just on future agenda items.
And we need to report out.
16.
Oh. All right. 16?
We want to report out additional action taken during closed session.
Oh, yes, we do.
Oh, yeah, we also took action in closed session, and if you could read that as a
Sure.
favor to me.
By a vote of 4-0, the board took action to accept the resignation of the superintendent effective October 1.
We approved that in closed session by a vote of 4-0. We had 1 abstention because they weren't present. And is that it?
Think so?
Thanks, I think.
Future
Any
agenda?
future agenda items we should know about?
Not at this time.
Okay. Barring a special meeting, we meet again on November, what's the second Wednesday in November?
It is on
13.
13th, November 13th at 4 p.m. And that is Greenville. Probably in the big room, in the cafeteria, or the all-purpose room, whatever it's called. So we adjourn until then.